Welcome back to the channel, everyone. It's such a joy to have you here today, and I'm excited to bring you this latest update from the heart of West Africa, a development that speaks volumes about national pride, unity, and leadership. As always, I want to thank you for tuning in and being part of this incredible journey as we shed light on the realities of our continent, often ignored or distorted in mainstream narratives. Today, we're heading to Burkina Faso, where history is unfolding in real time. There's something deeply moving happening in the city of Saya, also known as Bobo-Dioulasso, and it centers around none other than the president of Faso, Captain Ibrahim Traoré. Before we dive in, here's a quick disclaimer. This channel is committed to providing accurate, well-sourced information and thoughtful commentary. The content shared here is intended for educational and informational purposes only. We do not represent any government, political party, or organization. Our goal is to elevate discourse, give voice to the people, and present African stories with the depth and dignity they deserve. So with that said, let's unpack the remarkable scenes that unfolded in Burkina Faso on May 21, 2025. On that day, the energy in Bobo-Dioulasso was electric. The streets were alive, the crowds were massive, and the atmosphere was one of celebration and deep patriotic pride. President Ibrahim Traoré, the head of state and a key figure in Burkina Faso's current transition, arrived in the city in the afternoon, and what he encountered was nothing short of breathtaking. Thousands of people from the region had gathered to welcome him, not with protest or skepticism, but with joy, singing, drumming, and applause. This was not a staged political event. This was the spontaneous response of a people eager to show their appreciation and faith in a leader they believe in. From the moment his convoy entered the city limits of Bobo-Dioulasso, the president was met with overwhelming support. Residents lined the roads, waving flags, chanting slogans, and holding signs of encouragement. Children sat on the shoulders of their parents, women ululated with joy, and men proudly raised their fists in the air. The procession was slow, not because of any technical delays, but because the people themselves had taken over the streets in a show of solidarity that few leaders around the world can boast of receiving. And it wasn't just in Bobo-Dioulasso. Along the road from Ouagadougou to Bobo, there were repeated stops. Towns and villages like Boni, Houndé, and Kumbia were filled with spontaneous gatherings. Locals came out in droves, some on foot, others on motorbikes, many carrying signs that read, "Long live the transition," or simply, "Welcome, Captain Traoré." These weren't mere formalities. They were acts of genuine affection and trust in a leader many now see as a symbol of hope for a new Burkina Faso. So what's driving this groundswell of public support? To understand the significance of this moment, we need to look at the broader context. Captain Ibrahim Traoré took power during a time of great uncertainty in the country. The challenges were, and still are, immense. Insecurity due to terrorism, economic hardships, widespread youth unemployment, and systemic underdevelopment, particularly in the rural regions. But since assuming leadership, Traoré has taken a populist approach that resonates deeply with ordinary Burkinabé. He has emphasized national sovereignty, resource independence, and military reform. His rhetoric often includes themes of Pan-African unity and resistance to neo-colonial influence, messages that are striking a chord with a population that has long felt neglected and exploited. In Bobo-Dioulasso, the president's visit wasn't just ceremonial. He came with a plan and an agenda, one centered on transformation, not just speeches. Over the next 2 days, May 22nd and 23, Captain Traoré is set to preside over several key events focused on the modernization of agriculture and rural development. These initiatives are critical. Burkina Faso remains a largely agrarian economy, and yet the sector suffers from low productivity, limited access to modern equipment, and inadequate value chain infrastructure. That's why the government has made it a priority to modernize and intensify agricultural production, and this trip to Bobo-Dioulasso is a practical step in that direction. One of the headline events is the ceremonial handover of agro-pastoral and fishery equipment. This is a big deal. We're talking about the distribution of modern tools and machinery that will help farmers and fisherfolk across the region improve their yields, reduce post-harvest losses, and increase their income. This isn't just about charity. It's about empowerment and investment in local capacity. Another major development is the laying of the foundation stone for a cashew nut processing plant. Cashew is one of Burkina Faso's key agricultural exports, yet the country has traditionally exported raw nuts with little value addition. This new plant represents a strategic shift. By processing cashews domestically, Burkina Faso can retain more value, create jobs, and move up the economic ladder from raw material exporter to industrial processor. It's a classic example of what real development looks like. Not just extracting resources, but transforming them locally for the benefit of the nation. And if that wasn't enough, the president is also launching the construction of a veterinary pharmaceutical plant. This facility will produce essential drugs for livestock, addressing a long-standing challenge in animal husbandry across the Sahel region. Diseases and lack of treatment have crippled pastoral communities for years, and this new plant will provide locally made solutions, reducing dependency on expensive imports while boosting food security. Now, I just want to pause here and extend a heartfelt thank you to all our loyal subscribers and channel members. Your support is what makes it possible for us to bring you stories like this, stories that matter, that uplift, and that inform. If you're watching this and you appreciate what we're doing, please consider supporting the channel through a super thanks. It's a great way to help us continue our work, expand our coverage, and bring even more in-depth reports from across Africa. Every contribution, no matter how small, makes a difference. And to those who've already donated, thank you, thank you, thank you. You're not just supporting a channel, you're supporting a movement for a new African narrative. Returning to the president's visit, it's important to note that all of these actions are part of a broader vision that Traoré has laid out. He wants to build a self-reliant, resilient Burkina Faso, one that doesn't beg for aid, but rather stands firm in the global community. And while critics argue that his government still faces major hurdles, the scenes in Bobo-Dioulasso suggest that he has the people firmly behind him. There's also a deeper cultural significance to the president's reception in Saya. Bobo-Dioulasso is often called the cultural capital of Burkina Faso, a city known for its music, tradition, and spiritual depth. For Traoré to receive such a welcome, there is not only politically affirming, it's spiritually symbolic. It's as if the soul of the nation is rising up to say, "We see you, we support you, now lead us forward." Of course, challenges remain. The security situation in the north and east of the country is still volatile. The international community continues to watch Traoré's administration with a mix of skepticism and curiosity. There are debates around governance, human rights, and the transition timeline to civilian rule. But what can't be denied is the connection between this president and his people, a bond that appears stronger than ever. This moment in Bobo-Dioulasso could mark a turning point, not because everything is perfect, far from it, but because hope is alive. And in a world where despair too often dominates the headlines, hope is powerful. Hope can unite a people. Hope can build nations. So what happens next? That's the big question. Will these development projects bear fruit? Will the momentum of public support translate into long-term stability and prosperity? Only time will tell. But one thing is clear. Burkina Faso is moving, and it's moving with the people at the center of the journey. Captain Ibrahim Traoré's leadership continues to divide opinion outside the country. But inside Burkina Faso, the message from the people of Sia is unmistakable. They believe in this path. They believe in this moment. And perhaps, just perhaps, they are beginning to believe again in a future where their country stands tall, proud, and independent. Thank you once again for watching. If this story inspired you, informed you, or even just made you think, please like, share, and leave a comment below. Let's keep this conversation going. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new upload. This is Voice of Africa, and we'll continue bringing you the stories that others overlook, the stories that matter. Stay strong, stay hopeful, and as always, Africa to the world.